Hey everybody, welcome to the second 6 weeks review. As you might be able to tell, I'm still feeling kind of under the weather. So again, if the audio sounds weird, it's just me pausing to, cough. So let's just get started. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do all the odds, and then I want you to work out. Well, not all the odds, all the ones on the left, and then I want you to work out all the ones on the right. Okay? They're pretty much like pretty similar problems. Absolute value. Okay. Get rid of everything that's on the outside first. All right. So 2x minus 3 less than 14. I can divide out that 2. Divide out that 2. I'd write small on these, by the way. X minus 3 is less than 7. Okay, so now you can make it into your two-ended equation. So I'll say negative 7 less than x minus 3 less than 7. Remember, you can only do that until you get it down to the absolute value bars equals something. So I could plus 3 to each side, and that'll give me negative 10 less than x less than 10. Okay, and if they're both pointing to the left, then it stays like that. And your number line graph, you would have a negative 10 and a positive 10, and you'd have open circles there, and you'd be shading in the middle. All right? You only have to do that shading stuff if it's an inequality. Like this one is just an equation. So I see that I have it down to the absolute value bar, so I'm going to say 8x minus 4 over 2 equals 10, and then I'll say 8x minus 4 over 2 equals negative 10. And you make your two equations. And how am I going to get rid of that fraction? I'm going to multiply that bottom number to both sides, so dividing it by 2. And I can do that on this other one too. I'll do it in blue, so kind of crammed together. All right. I'll just focus my attention on this one for now. I have 8x minus 4 equals negative 20. Okay, and so now I can just plus 4 and then divide by 8 plus 4. 8x equals negative 20 plus 4 is negative 16. So divide by 8 and you get x equals negative 2. All right, now let's go back to this one. We're going to have 8x minus 4 equals negative 20. So I'll plus 4. I get 8x equals negative 16. Divide by 8. Divide by 8. You get x equals negative 2. All right, so... Oh, sorry about that. I made a mistake. I thought I'd written down a negative 10 here because of my poor equal sign. So this one is a positive 20. And so positive 20 plus 4 turns this into positive 24. So positive 24 over 8. Because it's pretty rare that you get the same thing twice. So positive 24 over 8 is 3. Okay. Sorry about that. Now, focus, directrix. What's the equation? Remember, the focus tells you your P. So, and your equation is y equals 1 over 4 times your P, x squared. So the final answer is y equals negative 1 over 28 x squared. This one, I give you the vertex 0, 0, the directrix is x equals negative 2. So the directrix says x equals negative p. So since the directrix is in x equals, I'm going to say my equation is x equals 1 over 4. And since negative p is negative 2, then positive p is positive 2. So 1 over 4 times 2, y squared. So my equation is 1 over 8, y squared. All right. What's the focus, directrix, and axis of symmetry from this? Remember, you have to get it in x equals form. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite it y equals 1 over 3x squared. And I need an x equals form. So I'm going to times both sides by 3. All right, so you get 3y equals x squared. Remember, that number by the y is your 4p. All right, so you say 4p equals 3. Divide by 4. P equals 3 over 4. Once you know that, then you can write your focus, directrix, and axis of symmetry. So let's hear. Your focus is going to be, you're going to use that 3 over 4. Is it going to be in the x-coordinate or the y-coordinate? It's a y equals equation, so it'll be the y-coordinate. So your focus is 0, 3 over 4. Your directrix is y equals negative 3 over 4. Remember, you flip the sign on the directrix only. And your axis of symmetry, since it was a y equals equation, it'll be an x equals axis of symmetry. Okay, number 6. Reflect y equals absolute value of 2x plus 3 minus 7 over the y-axis and translate it right 2 and up 1. Okay, y-axis reflection is going to make it go negative on the inside. So I'll say y equals absolute value of negative 2x. And translate it right 2 means I'm going to minus 2 from the inside because it's the opposite of what you would think. So 3 minus 2 is 1. So I'll write plus 1. And then up 1 would plus 1 on the outside. So that'll be negative 6. And final answer. Oh yeah, typically we say f of x and then g of x. The original did say y equals, so it's not a big deal. But just because. All right, g of x. Okay, moving on. What's the equation of the parabola with a vertex of 2, 8 that opens up, passes through the point 4, 24? So I give you a vertex, use the vertex form. So f of x equals a times x minus h, x is x minus 2 squared, plus k, which is 8. Your x and y are 24 is y, equals a times 4 minus 2 squared, plus 8. All right, so 4 minus 2 squared is 2, 2 squared is 4, so you have 4a plus 8 equals 24. So I can minus 8 to the other side, and I could say 16 equals 4a. So divided by 4, you get a equals 4. Once you figure out a, plug it in right there. So your final answer, we'll just write it right here. F of x equals 4 times x minus 2 squared plus 8. There we go. What's the max or min point of the function? Right there. Somebody opening my door. All right, well, I'm not going to fix that. Okay. Max or min point. It's just this number. Because this is in vertex form. So your vertex is at 2, 8. So that max min is max slash min is y equals 8. And is it a max or is it a min? This negative means it's going to open down, which means your vertex is the maximum point. So I want you to specify that it's a maximum point at y equals 8. All right, and if you need to know the x-coordinate, it's 2, because it's x minus h. All right, excuse me. What's the axis of symmetry and max min for the function of this? So this one is in standard form, so you have to do that x equals negative b over 2a. So you say x equals negative 9 over 2 times 2, which means x equals negative 9 over 4. All right, so it's going to stay a fraction. You could put it in a decimal, but I'm going to keep it as a fraction. So then we go to our calculator and we plug in. We need to look for that y value, okay? So we're going to say y equals instead of f of x, because it's pretty much interchangeable anyway. 2 times negative 9 over 4 squared plus 9 times negative 9 over 4 plus 10. And when I plug that in, I get y equals negative 1 over 8. All right? So I found my vertex. My vertex is negative 9 over 4, comma, negative 1 over 8. You have your axis of symmetry. That's this, the x answer. You have your max or min answer. Let's see here. This is a positive 2, so that means it's going to open up. This positive 2 right there. So this is going to be a min right there. And that's all I have to say about that. All right, number 16, you're going to need to remember those calculator steps. You're going to have to plug this into a spreadsheet, and then you have to open up a new page, and that's Control Doc 1, and then you have to do that menu 616. Plugging all that in gets you a function of 3x squared minus 12x plus 9. If it's a multiple choice question, you could just plug in the functions and keep hitting Control T until your table matches their table. So that's another alternative right there. But if not, this is something to write down on your note card, okay? Because I have a feeling a lot of people might miss a question like that. Number 17. Let f of x equal x squared, g of x equal 2 times x minus 3 squared plus minus 5. Describe g of x in terms of the parent function. Okay, so what did this 2 do? That 2 vertically stretched by a factor of 2, right? I'll accept just vertical stretch. That minus 3 made it go right 3. This minus 5 made it go down 5. And that's all I'm looking for right there. So that's going to wrap up my part of these. Oh, I like how I'll fix the numbering when I print this out. But I like how the right has the same numbers. Anyway, good luck on the test. Write things down on your note card. Goodbye, everyone.